Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carrie Harper, and I wrote the book, Flatten My Postpartum Belly. And the title of the book is exactly what I do. I help people with their postpartum abdomen, core area, and I also help people that have any trouble with core and abdomen, even if it's not postpartum related. But when we wrote this book, we decided that we would call it that because, the big because, and this is probably why you're here, because we go through 1,000 avenues before we find a solution for this problem. And I wanted people to be able to find a solution more efficiently, so that if somebody is looking for it, they can find the book and get started right away. That's my goal with it. I appreciate your being here this afternoon. It is 5 o'clock my time in Texas, and thank you for logging in from wherever you are. If you are on my Facebook, then I'm looking at you over here. You're welcome to post your questions and comments. I cannot guarantee that I will see them all just because of the way that it scrolls. And if you're here on Zoom link with me, you can use the chat function for comments and questions as well. I'll save a couple of minutes at the end to see if I left anything out or if we need to talk about anything in particular. So more than anything, I appreciate your support in this huge project that you don't realize is a huge project until you're neck deep in it. And it took a couple of months of my life this summer to put my methods down into a book. And not only is it my methods, but it's stories. And I think my stories are just as valid and important as the method. Because if we don't support each other with our stories of how we got to this place, and then our stories of healing and getting better, then we're not doing due diligence in helping other people that have this issue. So if you're looking into the book and you're seeing that there's stories in there too, it's separated by chapters. Some of it's going to be just stories and some of it is going to be method, and you can switch back and forth. You don't have to read this book straight through. It's the beauty of it. And I knew I would need tissues because as soon as I start talking on these calls, I just, regardless of what I'm talking about, for whatever reason, that happens. And it just reminds me of my mother, who always has a runny nose when she sits down to the dinner table. Why do I have a runny nose when I talk to people on these calls? I don't know. It's something genetic, I assume. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background on me, most of you that are watching this probably already know this about me. I have been in fitness for a really long time, like 24 years in fitness. And so that's my background. I also have a background in education and writing and wellness in general. And in 2004, towards the end of 2004, I had my first child. That's also the year, thank you, such a great guy. Also that year in 2004, I got my personal training license, I got my health coaching license, and I got my pre and postnatal fitness expert license, none of which prepared me for childbirth, having a baby, diastasis recti, or anything around that at all. So I had to figure out what this problem was in the center of my body myself. And I went to my doctor, as many of you have, and the whole story is chapter 2 in my book, so you can look at it. Long story short, I had another child a few years later. I'm going through other people's ideas of what I should be doing, and none of which was working for me. And I ended up in a really horrific surgery situation, of which still plagues and hinders some of my movement today. It is a daily practice to work towards getting better. And it was actually coming out of the surgery that I had to become sort of my own physical therapist. And instead of just going on what the doctors and surgeons were telling me, because basically they did not send me to a therapist or give me any help, I had to go back into my roots in fitness and training and all that I'd learned from various yoga teachers, various Pilates teachers, holistic practitioners like chiropractors, and I started piecemealing together how to get my body to start moving and feeling functional again. And when I started going back into the gym several months later to help other people with whatever training they were doing, I decided I'm going to start checking people for this core issue before I even start with them. Am I the only one? I can't possibly be the only one that has this problem. So when I started checking people and I started taking notes and I started taking data on people, I noticed the following statistics, and these statistics are also in the book. These are specific to me, so you might read other studies, but this is the Carrie study here. And that is within the first year after giving birth, like 80% of women have some level of diastasis recti. And after that first year, if it is not addressed and recovered, 60% continue to have it. And they can continue to have it for as long as it takes until they find a viable solution to help them heal their core. And so I was helping grandmothers get their core muscles back. It did not matter when they had the baby, but I started practicing these methods that I taught myself to help myself get up and around again. And lo and behold, their core started healing up and they were recovering from diastasis. And I couldn't believe it myself. I had no idea that what I was teaching them was going to have that much impact, but it had huge impact. So from there, my little method became a little tiny PDF, and that might be how you met me. My PDF of like 3 videos that I did, video links, went rampant because I did like a little test group with it. And then from there, when I tested it and people were like having phenomenal results, I was like, okay, well, I'll sell it for like $10. And it went worldwide. I started getting messages from India, from Australia, from Korea, from Indonesia. And I'm sorry, every now and then I have to make sure that everybody's muted as they get on. Thank you, Regina. And it was amazing. They're sending me before and after pictures, and I'm like, wow, there's really something to this. But here's what bothered me about that first initial PDF. It was bare bones skeleton, very beginning. And so, of course, I get flooded with all these questions of what to do next, and what do I do about this, and what about this, and what about this. And so I keep collecting data. And then some of you might have met me with my Udemy course. I put a big course up on Udemy with what I had gathered from all of those years. That one went up in like 2016. And still continue to improve and work with people. And what I decided to do finally was everybody should have access to it in a book so that they can lead themselves through the process. And not only did I put my methods in the book, I put video links in the book so that when you're going through the whole process, you can find little tutorial videos of me practicing it with you. Now, I will say that anytime that you're reading a book and anytime that you're going through videos, I have to go through sort of the common denominator. And I know that everybody's body is different. That's what I've learned as being a trainer and somebody that works with people of all walks of life, that everybody's body is different and it heals differently. So it's the common denominator that's helping a lot of people. And going back to the basics is still going to help you heal. However, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, if just reading a book and doing videos is not your way of learning, or if you have things like chronic issues, other injuries, autoimmunes, other problems that are compounding. I've even had people with like shoulder impingement, different issues with joints and back. If we need to be working together to piece all of this together to help you heal holistically, then there is a group for that. My next group for that, very small group, I keep them very small, is starting on Monday. So if you know in your heart and your mind right now that you need my eyes on you because you need someone to direct you to exactly what your body needs for your personal curriculum, you want me to be with you once a week, every single week for 5 weeks, then that's the program that you want to do. And all you have to do is just send me a message. You send me a message anywhere that you usually do. My email is carrie@carriefit.com, and my message here on my CarrieFit page, I check that every day. So you can send me a message and say, I'm interested in this 5-week program. Let me know how to get in, and we'll get you going. But the deadline for that is going to be tomorrow so that we can start my next group on Monday. Usually I do them for 6 weeks. This one will be 5 because we want to be finished by Christmas. Okay, and I can mention that again later, but that's just to let you know. What I want to do now is I want to read you chapter 1 from the book, and some of you already have this, but I want to read it to you anyway, just for you to have a taste of sort of my voice that is in this book and how I teach. Okay, so chapter 1 is called It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And this is directed specifically to a brand new mom. If you're not a brand new mom, then you're going to relate to this anyway, because if you're like me, it's going to take you right back to where you were. And if you haven't had children, then it can relate to someone that's close to you in your life. So listen and just absorb. Here we go. Congratulations. Congratulations on your new baby and your new life as a mom. I know that you are overjoyed to finally be in this stage with your baby. I know you love your role as a mother. Being a mom is a gift in its truest form. Your child will teach you more about life than you ever knew possible, and your bond with baby is something that will change every aspect of your life. Parenthood teaches us a whole new level of love and affection, and it is this gift that keeps parents going even through tough days and tough nights. However, this does not mean that life is perfect and full of rainbows. It doesn't mean that you can't wait to change diapers and that you love snot bulbs. It does not mean that you bounce out of bed every morning excited about every aspect of motherhood, and it does not mean that you love every colicky afternoon. This is speaking from truth right here. You love this baby and this life, but you might find that you're missing a piece of yourself. You might find that you don't recognize your postpartum body. You might be sad, frustrated, or upset with yourself because you look different and you feel different. You also might be experiencing pain and discomfort in your abdomen, back, and pelvis. You might feel strangely weak. You might feel confused and dismayed because this is not how you expected yourself to be postpartum. The feelings here vary, but I'm here to tell you, no matter how you are seeing yourself, your life, and your body right now, you are completely and totally normal. And there are a million other moms who feel exactly like you. Yes, that's right. The famous woman on the cover of the magazine with the perfect abs 3 weeks postpartum is not real. You are real, and you are every woman. There is no shame in your joy, nor is there shame in your frustration. This is real postpartum life. These are the things no one told you about, but should have. Forgive them and yourself immediately, because it will all be okay. You may have been told something like, and these are all things that people told me. These are all things that got in my brain. You will love every second of being a mom. You will bounce right back to where you were before. You will leave the hospital in your skinny jeans. You will instantly get your body back and lose tons of weight if you breastfeed. You will immediately embrace your new curvy figure. You will be so in love with your baby that you won't even care what you look like. There are all kinds of reasons people tell each other these things. Maybe that's how they felt. Maybe they are hoping your experience will be better than their own. Maybe they are trying to encourage you. Many times, they're hiding from their own truth, and they think that passing on these phrases and stories will somehow help other women embrace motherhood. But many times, these stories that stick do a lot of emotional damage. We as mothers and women can decide now that we will be more truthful about our own experience and also embrace someone else's real experience as valid. So we're going to go through each one of those stories and then a truth. Story number 1. You will love every second of being a mom. Truth. You will love being a mom. That tiny human is awesome in every possible way. However, being a new parent is exhausting, and there are a lot of things that are frustrating about this stage of life. Give yourself the grace to love yourself and your baby, but you're not required to love every minute. Story 2. You will bounce right back to where you were before. Truth. No one bounces back. That is silly and bogus. Your body just morphed into an incubator for 9 months. Your body had to spread out to harbor another human. Your body is not a rubber band and will not bounce back. Just remember, this is not a death sentence. Every part of life is a temporary phase, and this is just one of them. Don't worry. We will help each other not bounce back, but move forward. Are you with me? Story number 3. You will leave the hospital in your skinny jeans. Y'all, I packed my skinny jeans. Don't do that. Truth. Your hips will be wider and your abdomen may look and feel different. Many women find that their bones and joints spread while forming and carrying another human. It will take time for the hormones to change again and for the joints and bones to change again. You may not be wearing those skinny jeans right now. Don't worry about that. Find your best sweats and rock them. Story number 4. You will instantly get your body back and lose tons of weight if you breastfeed. Truth. Breastfeeding is great. It is nutritious for your baby and good for you. It burns about 300 calories a day, which is equivalent to about 1 extra snack, which means you will not instantly burn up body fat while breastfeeding. In fact, you may feel extra hungry, and it's important to make sure to consume enough calories so that your breast milk stays optimal for the baby. Instead of judging your body for the extra weight, praise your body for feeding your baby. Breastfeeding also keeps pregnancy hormones alive and well in your body, which means that your hips, pelvis, and skin may feel loose still while you're breastfeeding. Story number 5, you will immediately embrace your new curvy figure. Truth, you may not recognize yourself right now. And I'm talking to you, mom, that it might be past a year, might be past 5 years. You may be in total shock when you look at yourself. You may not even want to acknowledge that brave woman staring back at you. It's okay to not embrace your lovely curves right away. This is a process. Don't be angry with yourself for not immediately embracing this change. The journey back to yourself requires taking the time to absorb this experience. One more story. Story number 6. You will be so in love with your baby that you won't even care what you look like. Truth. You will be so in love with that little person, but that does not mean that you need to forget about yourself. You are allowed to care about having strength. You are allowed to care about who you are. You are allowed to want to feel better. You are allowed to still be a person. You are the caregiver for a new life. We want you to feel fantastic about yourself. Your baby depends on your light and energy, which means that it is essential for you to care for you. You may not feel fantastic today. You may find yourself crying a lot, confused, tired, and irritable. You might be on top of the world 1 minute and then crashing the next. It's all okay. It's all postpartum life. Even if Aunt Mildred won't admit it or has forgotten, she was there too. You have been incredibly focused on the life of another person, right? That life that you brought into this world is the life that you are intended to care for. And yes, your to-do list today includes making sure that that baby is safe and well cared for. But what about you? If you were that helpless being, who would you want your caregiver to be? Someone who had no sleep, didn't eat, and had no time to care for herself? Or would you prefer a parent who is aware of her own state of health. It's overwhelming to even consider taking care of yourself and someone else too. I get that. We all do. But as days turn into weeks, you will find that you are able to find yourself again. You will sleep again, and you will even be able to read again. If you find that you are struggling with deep sadness, where you feel you cannot take care of your baby, or you're having terrible thoughts about your life or the life of your child, do not wait to take action. Depression and anxiety are common in this period of life due to incredible shifts in hormones and lack of rest. Seek professional help immediately. If you do not have anyone to talk to, or you cannot see your doctor right away, text the word CONNECT to 741-741. A professional will be with you right away. Do not ignore these signs of anxiety and depression. And this is a list from the Mayo Clinic. These are for my new moms that are struggling. Depressed mood or severe mood swings, excessive crying, difficulty bonding with your baby, withdrawing from friends and family, loss of appetite or eating much more than usual, inability to sleep or sleeping too much, overwhelming fatigue or loss of energy, reduced interest and pleasure in activities you used to enjoy, intense irritability and anger, fear that you are not a good mother, feelings of worthlessness, shame, guilt, or inadequacy, diminished ability to think clearly, concentrate, or make decisions, severe anxiety and panic attacks, thoughts of harming yourself or your baby, or recurrent thoughts of death or suicide. If those are happening, please seek help right now. Your body. By now, you recognize that your postpartum body is different from your pre-pregnancy body. Your joints and back may feel different. Your breasts may be enlarged, heavy, or uncomfortable. Your pelvis may feel wide or loose. And of course, you might be wondering what is going on with the middle of your body. You might notice these are all symptoms of diastasis recti, and everybody on this call, I think, has told me at least one of these. You may notice, I look pregnant, my tummy protrudes, my navel looks weird, I have a lot of loose skin, I have belly fat, I have indigestion, I have trouble with my bowels, I have lower back pain. All of these are symptoms of diastasis recti, an extremely common condition for women who have ever been pregnant. That's right, I said ever. If you're reading this and you had your baby 20 years ago, this may still be your issue. Don't worry, we're here together today to figure out this piece of the puzzle. Together, we can change that belly situation and help you feel better. This is not just an issue of aesthetics. This is an issue of health. And that, ladies, is chapter 1. So, thank you for listening to my work there. That was a lot for me to put on a page, and I was inspired by many people that I have met that have struggled in so many different ways from dealing with this diastasis thing. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. If you need to take a sip of your beverage, now is a little drink break. If I had some elevator music, I would play it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this next section of this call is going to be your mini lesson for the day. And if you've ever worked with me before, then you know that I am super, super picky about what? Your alignment, breathing, and core engagement. I call that your ABC. And I will always go back to that, and I will always pick up that from every single person that I work with, because that is the foundation of every single thing that I do and everything that you should be doing moving forward to make yourself feel healthy and strong again. If you lose your alignment, you cannot build on that foundation. If you're not breathing, you cannot build on that foundation. And if you can't find your core engagement yet, it's okay. because that's a practice. Finding the core engagement is a practice, and sometimes we have to work and work and work at it. And just from a level of experience of working and working and working with people, it's like I'm doing the things, and all of a sudden, bing, the light turns on, and you feel it one day. And it's the amazing miracle moment that then you can start building on top of that. It's really cool to watch. So let's do a quick ABC lesson from wherever you are. I'm going to help you out with your alignment, breathing, and core engagement. This is always the first lesson. Like I said, without this, you can try to stack your house on a shoddy slab, but it's not going to hold up. This is what holds everything together. I'm going to give myself some space. Get to see a little bit of my house here. Okay, I'm trying to get both cameras to see relatively most of me. All right, so from the front, when you're standing, and if you're looking at yourself from the front in the mirror, here's the first thing that you'll notice is my neck short. My neck is short, then I'm probably pushing my head forward or my shoulders up or a combination of both. By the way, none of these things are abnormal or unusual. I see them in 99 out of 100 people. So if you're like, wait a minute, that's me, that's wrong. It's not that it's wrong, it's that we're gonna make it better, because when you make it better, then you can live free of pain and you can start healing all your issues. It makes all, and your chiropractor will be like, thank you. You just like took a year of practice off of me. Okay, and then from the side, what I recommend to do is to get a picture of yourself standing exactly profile to the camera. So maybe you have a friend do it, or maybe set your timer and get a really good profile shot of yourself in your best posture. This is mine, okay? And I've practiced a lot, so I'm pretty sure I'm doing pretty good, but even I am not perfect all the time. So sometimes I have to check my stuff, my shoulder, my hip, I have to check that every now and then. Here's what a good alignment, keyword line, looks like. It's the crown of your head, which is back here, not over your nose, but over your ears. It's back here. Crown of your head over your ear, over your shoulder, over your ribs, and you can find like the end point of your ribs. So the shoulders over the ribs, and that is directly over the top of your pelvis. You can find sort of the top of your pelvis right there, which is directly over the hip joint. So in all seriousness, standing in a straight, good posture, from the side, you're literally making a line on those points. So let me give you a couple of little things to look for when you look at your posture, because these are the most common things that I see and things that we work on. Shoulder out of shoulder girdle and forward. Rolled forward slightly and head pushed forward slightly. Okay, the second one is ribs pushed way out here. So the ribs opening out and being a little bit in front of the pelvis and putting a lot of pressure on the lower back. I see that some. And then this point here, this top of the pelvis and the hip joint, I see that in two directions. I see that as the booty out, or I see that as the over tuck, tucked way too far underneath. And neither one of them is going to serve you well. So getting those 2 points lined up is essential. Okay, now the second part of your ABC method is learning how to breathe not in your belly. Oh my gosh, what is she talking about? Yes, I know. I went to music school, by the way. I went to music school and I played the saxophone. So my entire upbringing was belly breath. But I learned from all of this that when you belly breathe, you're expanding and contracting your injury over and over and over. So we do a basic Pilates breath, which is breathing into your lungs. Your lungs live under your ribs. They're up here. Your lungs are here. This is your tummy. These are intestines and bowels and all of that. Your lungs live up here. So if you're actually going to expand your lungs all the way into your back, then you're getting a really good breath. The diaphragm lives right underneath the lungs, and it's an involuntary muscle. So it's going to contract and expand on its own. You don't even have to think about it. When I went through music school, they told me to breathe into my diaphragm. You can't do that. You breathe into your lungs. Your lungs live here, okay? And then the third part, of course, is feeling the navel, the core muscles pull up and in consistently. And there's a couple of points to that. This part right here where my pelvis is, right across here, that transverse abdominis area is like your hammock. It's holding you up and in. This area here, right underneath my rib cage, is the top of the transverse abdominis, and it is holding my rectus abdominis up and in. So both ends, top and bottom, pulling up and in is going to give you that core engagement all the way down. That's my basic for ABCs. And trust me, that is a huge amount of your practice. In fact, if you're practicing to heal your diastasis, you should be starting every day, lining yourself up, breathing properly, and finding your mind-core connection to pull it up and in. That really is the slab. That is the foundation for everything else. Now, in the book, I go over that. There is a 4-part video series. So you can practice with me for 4 solid days and repeat it as often as you need to. Then go on to the strengthening exercises section. And you can go through a different section of the strengthening exercises every day and rotate them, or you can stick to one part that you really need to work on and then go to the next part once you sort of feel like you've mastered that section. You can practice that either way as long as you go back to your ABCs. That's going to be the essential element of all of it. And when people have completed my program and they come back to me and they're still struggling, guess where we start? We go back to the ABCs and we start from there again. Okay, so that is your lesson and your reading for today. I don't see any questions on the chat. If you had any, just real quick, if you'll jot those down for me. Thank you for your comments on Facebook as well. To find Flatten My Postpartum Belly, it's on digital release right now on Amazon. So you can look up either my name or the title of the book on Amazon. Flatten My Postpartum Belly is what it's called. It's $6.99 and it's digitally sent to you. So you can get it on your Kindle or your computer and then go from there. Okay, so I have a question from Andrea. Will the methods in your book help close a gap as well as flatten the belly? Most of the time, Andrea, the issue is the injury. And so when you start practicing and healing the injury, the belly will also flatten with that, unless there's an additional layer of issue. So additional layers of issue that I find would be if somebody really does have a layer of fat there that we need to deal with nutritionally or in exercise, or if there is swelling from things like an allergy, a food intolerance, gluten issues, or even candida, then it's really hard to flatten everything up without dealing with all of those issues as well. So everybody, if you have an additional issue, I was mentioning this in the beginning, if you have an additional issue beyond just the diastasis, then you are probably going to do better using my personal training program. I have a 5-week program. It starts on Monday, and you get my eyes and my ears and my hands to help you specifically with all that ails you, not just the injury. If there's other issues with that, we work with the whole person. Let me know if that's you. I only take a small number because I have to have enough time to give all of my attention to every single person in that group. So I will only take applications, which just means a message, through tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday as I'm recording this, and we're going to start on Monday. If you're listening to this and it's not November 15th, 2018, you can still send me a message to look at the next group that is coming up, or to ask me questions about the book and my practice as well. And before you go, I get to give away 3 signed copies of the paper issue when it comes out. Yay! Paper issue is only a month away. So if you are a paper issue type of person, you want to hold it and smell it and read it and love it, that's going to be released mid-December. I'm shooting for December 15th. And these 3 people will get a signed copy sent to them from me in the mail for you. And that is April Gardner, Andrea, I can't pronounce your last name, Miaris, yes, and Kay Mason. Yay! Congratulations to those people getting a signed copy of the book. And I feel like I'm leaving. So, I wanted to let you know that also on this call today is my friend Christine, and she was kind enough, sweet Christine is kind enough to have written the foreword on the book. So thank you, Christine, for coming, and thank you so much for your kind words at the beginning of Flatten My Postpartum Belly. It means the world to me, and your support has meant a lot to me. And all of you, I love you so much. I totally appreciate every ounce of support that you've given me. Every kind note that you've sent me has kept me going. And I love hearing success. Please keep sending me success. It doesn't matter how tiny. I love tiny. I love like, oh my gosh, the light bulb went on today. I will celebrate that light bulb. It is the best moment. I will celebrate an end to back pain. That is an amen to me. End of back pain is so incredible. Side effect of this process for a lot of people is helping heal their pelvic floor. Yay! When somebody can pee normal, I get so excited. So tell me when you can pee normal again. I think that's amazing, you guys, because I get it. I have been there. I've been in your shoes. And I still, every single day, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you and can't wait to hear how you feel about the book. Don't forget to send me a review on Amazon. That would make my day. Okay? Thanks, you guys. All the love. Bye-bye.